Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my AFLW Fantasy Round 1 team, going through how it went, I'm in a pretty good position. There are some things I could have improved on. I missed out on, just looking here, 39 plus 21, so that's 60 plus another 4, so like 64 points just up front here, just through that, as well as another like 4 or 8 in captaincy as well, so that's another 8 there. So 72 points I missed out on from just having my team in my players that I currently have in the best positions, etc. But that is that. It probably is even more with Cordner. Who would have thought Thomas would have gone 36? So there's that as well. But sometimes you're not always going to get the perfect team, obviously, or the perfect rotations with who actually scores best at the moment. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, this is what I was talking about. Ended up with a round score of 13-19. If I go here and make this a little bit bigger for you guys, 13-19, overall rank of 1771, and obviously a round rank of 1771 given it's the first round. Now we move on to the backline, and this is the backline where I'm most intrigued about what's going to happen. Because if we look at the defenders here, you'll see Stanat did really well, and she's one that I've contemplated getting in, given that she's playing Collingwood as well. Her and Priest, I think, are the two that I want to get in over McDonald, Thomas, and Heads, or Cordner, Heads, and Thomas. As I think Gonjaga could do really well, but I don't know if her role necessarily holds, and I think also... I think these 5 could be necessarily the 5 best, but we're also waiting on any of the, like, Allen, or if we go by not points, if we go by price, Allen, Butler, Gay, Sharon, Priest as well, like we said, Lynch, all these bigger, more pricey girls, are they going to get back to their best? Because if they do, then obviously we won't have those, like... The girls that, if we go back to averages, Stanat, Priest, I think Priest will still be up there given her role, but I don't think the likes of Cordner, with the potential for Carlton to have players coming back, I don't think her role is necessarily safe. And then you got all these Scanlon and stuff like that, who I don't think will hold in the top 8 or 9 defenders, because I think defenders will go up a little bit. I just don't know why they were... I understand why, to a certain degree, theoretically, they were lower because of the difference in game style, but I think surely with a better weekend, I mean, we had about 3 or 4 wet games. If we have dry games, that should help a lot with the scoring for defenders, and yeah. But other than that, so we had Carney here, 75, really good. She'll hold the whole year pretty much, unless for injury. Thomas, stuck on the bench in the last quarter, bloodied in the third. So I'm still not disappointed in that. She could have easily gone 50, 55, even on a bad game. So I think she'll respond, and I'm going to give her one more week. And it's honestly just a 70 that's going to be suffice with the defenders, it seems like. As 70 is like a 90, and because we were saying earlier that about an 80, 85 is the 100 for the men's, given the time scale. And that 100 for the men's is around that top 6 defender. Defenders are generally are the lowest of the bunch from memory from AFL Fantasy, just by like 2 or 3 points. It seems like it's inflated a little bit out to around that 7 to 8 points at least in the defenders here, as well as the fact that there are about only 1 or 2 defenders that have midfield status, whereas we got like Doherty, we got also Dawson, we got Dacos as well. You had like 5 or so guys that were all defenders that had midfield status, the midfield like DPPs across the year. So I think that actual defenders do score 3 or 4 less than in the men's, but in the women's I think it's more like 7, 8 less, and I think you can see it sort of in the scores. Thomas 36. We said Evans was absolutely huge. I don't know why this one's kept on kicking it to her. She was the only real stopper in the GWS backline. If they didn't kick it to Evans, they probably would have put on another 15 points because they just kept on kicking it. I think she took 3 or 4 intercepts. So she ended up 88, absolutely huge, and what a pick to start the year. Heads, I think, grew into the game, and I think she will grow into the game more. With Geelong, she'll get a lot more kickouts, I believe. Yes, she was sharing it with Smith, but I think she'll get the preferential treatment in the second game against Geelong, and that should be fine. She'll be there. And I'll look to upgrade her potentially week 3 or week 4, as that is the plan. And then you've got McDonald here, 53. She was on like 46 at halftime and then just couldn't get on the ground, which sort of sucks. She's a rookie, should have known that. And then Cordner, 74. And I'm cautious with Cordner to actually field her because there is potential for some girls to come back, but it is Cordner. So I think I'm still going to be fine with it, given that the majority of the player base has her, 44%. I mean, a majority has, or a high percentage has her, so it should be fine. Moving on to the midfield, Swanson, a late in for Bowers, and I think that's fine. 104, and slightly down in price, but I mean, the pricing, some girls are going to move around 500, 600k across a 10-game season. The volatility is so much more than the men's. Like, obviously, it should be 2.3 times, but I think it's more... I don't think I've ever seen prices this, I guess, volatile. I mean, we saw Anthony go up. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just wondering what's going to happen in week 2. If we have the same break-even model that we did in the men's, and Anthony goes on and scores another 99, that she could honestly go up to 850k or something like that, just because she'll already have the low break-even, and she'll have, I mean, her break-even, I think, it was going into the game somewhere around that 2022 mark, but now it's like 5. And if we think about that, if the men were getting around 3 or 4k per, it was around 2 to 3k per break, getting over the break even by one point. That means that if we multiply that out, it should be about 10k or so per 1 over or something like that. But then again, Anthony was around 70 over and went up 230k, so I don't know what exactly it will be. But yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. I think with Anthony, it could be the case that she goes up massively because that's just the way it is. Then we move on to Marinoff here, 112, absolutely huge, came alive in the last quarter. I think she had a 44-point quarter by memory. And yeah, just a good VC score, but didn't have, like I did with the men's, had the maximum playing and didn't really have a red dot, because you don't really want a red dot at the moment per se. And I think one will develop over the season, as well as you can always just bring in a 300k red dot, and then they'll be used as a cover, I guess, or a captaincy loophole. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Conti 101, could have gone like Prasparkas or someone there, and that would have got me another 40 points. But Conti did the job there, and 101 from her, and she plays Adelaide this week. We'll see what happens there. She had the tough matchup with Brisbane, and they actually got over the line, so it will be interesting against Adelaide, another tough team for Conti. But we'll see there. Benici 88, yeah, she was pretty good. Just overstarred by Davey, but we'll be fine there. I think she did her job, 88. Smith 29 had the role, just sucked, and that was about it. But I'm confident in her being able to break the mold, I guess. And yeah, we'll see what she puts up next week. And yeah, just wondering with Smith, she went up 12k for a 29. So, and Anthony went up another, what did Anthony go up here? Let me just check. If I bring it up, Anthony went up 200, so Anthony went up another 211k for another 70 gained on a, so I think it's around 3k per per point actually. Now looking at it here, and if we say Anthony has a break even of 5, and she goes 90 again, 95 again, that's going to be 300k. So yeah, I think Anthony is almost a must, just because if she goes huge again, if you keep her in your side for 2 weeks, you could gain 600k or something like that, and 600k, and then just bring her off the bench. You have a way to get Bonchi or someone like that up to Prasparkas, or I could even go, if it works out perfectly, I could go Anthony, because I'm probably going to bring in Anthony this week. Anthony and Bonchi in week 4 up to Prasparkas, and also Bowers if Bowers drops in price, as that would be huge. The three trading out 3 mids and getting and then I'd have Swanson, I'd have Bowers, Marinoff, Prasparkas, Swanson, and also Davey. That would be a huge midfield, and that would set me up for the year. And so that is probably going to be the plan, and then trying to find a way to get use the cash that I currently have to upgrade my defender stat group next week, because I'm pretty happy with the with the forwards, and also the ruckman that can build up as I go. I'm probably going to go 2 rookies, and you'll see that in my I guess trade targets and round preview for in the next couple of days. Then you've got here, so we went through all the defenders. We went through up to Conti, Bonchi, we went through Smith, we went through Nansquian, injury risk, so just going to trade her out. She made a lot of cash and is now going to probably, well, it's going to go up, I think, as, I think I have to trade her up at this moment, either, or no, I don't necessarily have to, but I think because of the high likelihood that she misses, I'm going to trade her, as you just don't want to, I guess, a midfield bench player not, or just a cash gen player not playing. And yeah, so Nansqueen needs to go if she's not going to play, and Smith, it will become that bench player or the utility player, as I just try and get as much cash gen going. Then move on to Hickey. 70 is probably going to go, just because I can just go the 2 rookie ruckman for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then go up to Moffat, as I think they will gain enough cash at this point. They need to gain up to probably 600k each to make that maneuver, and they've got 3 weeks to do it. So I can either do that, or if I want them to go up to like Edmund or someone absolutely huge, they need to get up to 700k each, and that's 320, and that's around 320 and 310k each they need to make. And Davey made 84k and Hoare made 63, and they're only going to make more once in the next week, as their break even will be lower. So yeah, and they could easily, Davey has Melbourne, which I think Melbourne is an easier ruck matchup, and Hoare plays Sydney, which is probably a tougher matchup, but she did play Western Bulldogs, which is the toughest ruck matchup, so she probably has the 2 toughest ruck matchups, or give or take, due to just the, I guess, size of Moffat and Edmund, that Hoare should be able to still put up a 50 or 60. I'm just saying, I'm just going to probably put Davey on field, because she'll put up I think another 5 or so points. And yeah, then so Hickey's going to go, and she'll probably go to Anthony and bank a lot of cash, and that cash next week will allow me to get Cordner and I think Heads and I think McDonald up to, or Thomas, get them all up to 700k defenders, and pretty much max out that defender line at the moment. And I think that is the plan. And then so it'll be sort of fixing up the midfield this week. Next week is fixing up the defenders. The week after that is going huge on the midfield. And then the week after that is going huge on the ruck status. And then the week after that is getting the last forward in. And then that's pretty much a complete team by like round 5. or round 6 or whatever. So I said, so the round 3 trades will be the defenders, round 4 will be the midfielders, round 5 will be the ruckman, and round 6 trades will be will be here. So that's going into round 7. So like four sets of trades left or whatever, just to keep on trying to maximize if no injuries, etc. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way I have it planned out, especially if the players that come in, etc., do really well. But that's obviously not going to happen, because if you plan ahead too much, then stuff's going to hit the fan. Davey did well. Hall did really well. Then you have Malloy 74, a little bit unders, but I mean she was tagged into the ground, and 74 is fine. Roberts 92 came off I think at the end, but should be fine injury wise. Phillips 98, absolutely huge, plays Brisbane. She should be fine, honestly. She played Adelaide, which is a tough matchup. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Gardner 100, absolute huge, plays a old team. We'll probably find it a little bit tougher against Geelong, obviously, tougher matchup, but it's Gardner. She's playing an old team. I think she'll have a point to prove at this point, and she'll do well. And then Hamilton just didn't get the role that I thought she would, and yeah, just gonna move her on because need to fix up that position, I guess. And then Stratton, I thought would do a little bit better, but 48 still for a rookie, going up 71k. 69k for a rookie is fine. And yeah, hopefully she can just silently make cash. And if she's sitting at like 500, 600k by the time that I get around to fixing up Hamilton's replacement, which I'll leave unnamed at the moment, hopefully she's around 600k, because that'll, plus the Hamilton replacement is currently around the same price as Hamilton. Hopefully she is around 800k, and then I can get that up to Morrison, and that's pretty much a complete forward line already. And then Hoare 47 is doing well, and then basically it will come down to can you get good players off the bench, I guess, to get just to hoard the best players, and then have a almost a utility or something that plays in the trade in a utility that plays in the last game of a round to cover off in case you get a really, really good score. That's pretty much what I think it's going to be like at the moment. As in, you trade in a girl that plays the last game of the round and that isn't actually playing, and then you can just flick them onto the field, and then that'll get you the big score off the bench. If you have a massive score like 100 or something like that off the bench, that would be what would be 7, 8, and 9, I think. 8, 9, and 10. But yeah, that is pretty much the video there. A little bit longer. I ran a little bit long compared to what I thought I would for this, but I mean, we were just talking through options, etc., and that's what I like about AFL Fantasy and the women's as well, just talking through the hypotheticals and stuff like that. And I mean, we went through what is deemed my plan at the moment, but I'm telling you right now that's gonna not happen, as there's gonna be an injury, someone's gonna get dropped, something or other, and yeah, so that's probably not gonna happen. But if it does happen, then I think that's pretty much put us in really good stead. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.